Friday night, Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Busch and Carl Edwards were on the front row for Sunday's Dodge 400. Toyota and Ford upsetting Dodge. Dodge did make some headlines today, but 5 guys crashed. 5 Dodge guys crashed. Juan Montoya, several others. I'm not sure if it was all related or just a coincidence. Maybe they're trying very hard. They didn't do much at California Speedway after doing 6 of the top 8 at Daytona. So maybe they're trying to get back on track. Not sure about Dodges. Still don't know too much about Casey Kane. He looked pretty good, but he crashed. Brushed the wall. These tires are very hard. The grip is a lot different than it was back in January when they tested. Temperature's 40 degrees warmer right now. Not as much wind. Nice weather for the crowd. Beautiful day for racing out there. But the cars, you should have seen the 4th turn. The asphalt was filled with skid marks. The 4th turn was just filled with skid marks. Guys into the wall. Not that bad, but like they're driving on ice. The one good thing is it's not as bad as it was last year. Last year the tires were terrible. They were rock hard. Harder than Talladega tires. The asphalt was brand new, which was one reason Goodyear came with a compound like that. Drivers hated it. This was the worst day on the tour last season, the Dodge 400 at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. But today, it looks to me like drivers are getting a handle on this new car at these intermediate tracks, which was a problem. Jeff Gordon was worried about that. Jeff Gordon had a good run today. And Jimmy Johnson was 36. He was far off the pace. He just didn't have confidence. The new car at these tracks, you have to have confidence. And what you have when you roll off the truck, it's about like Daytona and Talladega. You're not going to get any better. That's what Jeff Gordon said. He says, when you leave the 7-post rig back in your shop, the computer simulation model that goes up and down and in and out and tries to pretend like it's driving the car for 500 miles to give you an idea of clearance and spring heights and all those things. When you get that done, you load the car up and get to the track, that's what you got. You're not going to get any better. You're not going to be able to improve the car. You can't improve it during a 500-mile race, a 400-mile race. You can't improve it through 2 days of practice or whatever. What you got the first day is what you got. And if that's the case, let's look what we got here. We got Busch and Carl Edwards on the front row. Mark Martin, he looked good. He was happy. He said he was totally out of control. He says there's no grip out there. Hey, 3rd fastest. He's feeling pretty good about things right now. Chevrolet, best Chevrolet out there. Jeff Gordon, 4th, looked pretty good. Mike Skinner, 27 car, filling in for Jacques Villeneuve. I don't know if Jacques is going to come back anytime soon. Mike had to get in on speed. He got in on speed. He's a great guy. You're going to love this guy. He's got a good driving style. I don't know how the Bill Davis operation is really going to work with Mike in terms of like it's Johnny Benson 1 week, it's Mike the next week, maybe Villeneuve comes back. It's a little up and down, but Slugger Lobby, his crew chief, had everything going today. Mike, 5th fastest. Greg Biffle. Greg didn't like the car. Pulled off a good qualifying run. A lot of guys were just scared. Well, not scared necessarily. They just didn't have confidence. Like Jimmy Johnson. We talked to Tony Stewart a little bit. Brian Vickers. Michael Waltrip. Denny Hamlin, 28th fastest. Lack of confidence was a major factor today. Tires are hard. Cars are really on the edge. Drivers don't feel comfortable in them. A couple of guys do. The trends that we're seeing so far, the Gibbs cars, of course, especially Kyle Busch. Tony Stewart didn't have a very good day. Tony's forte, with Greg Zipazelli as crew chief, is the ability to make the car better as the day goes on. We saw that time after time after time during this is their 10th year together. It's hard to imagine that. They're going to have a special paint scheme in Atlanta next week to celebrate that. 10 years, long time to be together. But their forte is to get the car better as the day goes on. A lot of guys work very hard on that. With this new car, we're not seeing that being a factor. What you've got is what you got. Doesn't matter what you think you might be able to do. There's no room to change things right now. And NASCAR today, the inspection procedure before the race, before qualifying, was very, very tight. There are new templates this year, same design, but thicker, heavier templates. They don't flex nearly as much, so that little 1/16 of an inch, and that's all it was for Jimmy Johnson, a 1/16 of an inch, and he had to sit out the first 20 minutes of practice because the car didn't hit the right hard spots. A lot of guys were like that. They were all over Robbie Gordon's car, for example, Matt Kenseth's car. A lot of guys didn't get on the track. They lost time because the inspection procedure was so strict. I'm still not sure exactly what NASCAR is trying to show with this tough inspection procedure. They're trying to make a point, but after that California debacle, I don't know if anybody's going to understand what they're trying to say. California, we talked to the guy who was the man of the hour. Not Kyle Busch, not Carl Edwards. It was Bruton Smith. Bruton Smith loves the media. He loves the attention. He loves all the excitement that comes with stuff like this. He was there talking about what he's going to do next year. He says he's talking with California Speedway about running the Labor Day race at Atlanta, swapping that to California for their October race. That makes sense from a standpoint of weather. Late October, California won't be 115 degrees, that's for sure. We're not sure what Lisa France Kennedy has to say about that. She's the one that's going to make the ultimate decision. She and Brian and Jim France. But the kicker was Bruton says he's going to have a second Vegas date next season. We're thinking it's going to be at night in September, the date that Loudon has right now. He wouldn't rule out taking the date away from Loudon. He did say he was not going to move a date from Atlanta. He did say he was going to have 2 dates. He was pretty firm, but he might be pressing the issue a little bit because he's been talking about moving the NASCAR banquet from New York to Las Vegas for a couple of years now, and NASCAR keeps shooting him down on that. A lot of it might be bravado. Bruton's good at that. Those two pieces of information, I think, are pretty interesting. If he gets a second date at Las Vegas, would it come at the expense of New Hampshire? I think he's going to twist France's arm a little bit on that and make them come up with a solution to the problem. They don't want to lose the Boston market. 2 good races up there. Jerry Gappens, the new guy that is running New Hampshire Motor Speedway for Bruton, has already sold out the June race, their first race under the new banner, and he's within 2,500 tickets of selling out the September race. That's pretty good, I think, 92,000 people, 93,000 people up there. I think what Bruton's going to do is build either a 3/4 mile or a 7/8 mile high bank 35-degree Bristol on the Loudon property. He's got enough room. If he gets 180,000 people in there, one race makes as much money as 2 races with half the crowd. I think that's the way he's looking. I think that's the way he wants the Francis to think that he's going to go. And I think he's trying to put the pressure on the Francis to give him a second date in Vegas. He says he's earned a date in Vegas. He goes through this long spiel. He's been doing this stuff since before he built Charlotte Motor Speedway in 1960. And he says the Francis have never given him a date. They never gave him 2 dates for Charlotte. He had to get those from his own track. They never gave him dates for Texas. He had to buy those. He says they have never given him a date, and yet they've given Loudon a date. They gave California a date. They gave California a second date. They gave Chicago a date. They gave Kansas City a date. NASCAR's given a lot of people dates, but not Bruton. That's his case. He might have a point on that. 2 dates in 2009 for Las Vegas, at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. I think the odds are good. I think the chase is going to start here in the middle of September 2009. I think Bruton's on the mark on that. I think the Francis is going to come around. They're looking at TV ratings. They've got to be getting some pressure from some of the TV execs, and Bruton went out with them last night, the Fox people, though I think it's going to be ABC that's going to make the call on the fall race. Bruton's covering all his bases, doing all his whining and dining and getting everything done. I think 2 races there. And I think the Francis is going to figure out that they need his help in California. Gillian Zucker's doing all the right things out there, but not getting the results. I'm not sure what's wrong. There's something wrong. And I think it's time for Bruton to step to the plate and do something. Maybe he should buy California Speedway. Maybe he should buy California Speedway, move one of those dates to Las Vegas in exchange for a sellout at California Speedway in either February, March, April, May. The Francis might buy that. I'm not sure. And that's the story. Friday night, Las Vegas Motor Speedway, Mike Mulhern for the Winston-Salem Journal and JournalNow.com. And it's dry, and it ain't going to rain.